Good morning, good afternoon. It is 10 o'clock Pacific time where I am. I'm looking at all of these participants joining. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who's here early. Go ahead and just type in where you're from today, where you're zooming in from. Good morning, good afternoon. Go ahead and use your chat. Thanks for being here. You're at the Technology Source Virtual Roundtable. It is February 2021. We are having our second virtual roundtable of the month. Thank you to those who are joining us. We do these monthly, twice a month. We will get started in about 1 minute. Good morning in Whittier. Hello there in Long Beach. Another Long Beach. Hi in Brea. Hi in Miami Beach, Florida. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hi in Arizona. Another Florida. Welcome to the virtual roundtable with Technology Source. We'll get started in about 15 seconds. We're just watching the panelists trickle in and our attendees. Awesome. All right. Well, I am going to kick it off. We'll get started here. All right. This is Sonya Meline, and I'm the Vice President here with Technology Source. I'm excited to share some really good information with you today. Hopefully you take away some really good things that you can use in your world, and we're happy to be that source for you at Technology Source. So today we're going to talk about, a little backwards there. We're going to talk about SD-WAN business outcomes, and that will be with our technology provider Windstream Enterprise. So thanks to them for being here today. I see a lot of well-dressed executives here on the call, and we're so happy to have you. It's so nice to see faces. I was just telling the guys I feel a little isolated. I haven't been on nearly as many virtual meetings recently, kind of just head down working in my own little world. So it's fun to see people. All right, so today we're going to talk about what is important. And this is kind of a survey of just what customers have told us is important to them. And then case study, we're going to go into a quick case study about SD-WAN. And then we're going to talk about how we can explain the business of outcomes of SD-WAN, whether that's to our executive team, our coworkers, our clients, whoever needs to know. And then we're going to hear from Windstream, and we're going to learn from them about their SD-WAN product, as well as those business outcomes of SD-WAN. Really, what does it do for the business? And then throughout this entire presentation, we will, just like always, have the ability for you to ask questions. So if anything comes up, please do ask a question. In fact, we have a very generous giveaway from SD-WAN, $350 in prizes. So somebody's going to take them home. And so if you'd like to win them, all you have to do is go ahead and ask a question. And then if we use your question, we drop your name into this bowl, and then we pull your name at the end, and then you win that prize if you're actually drawn. So that's kind of the lay of the land for today. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, let's ask, what is most important to our customers? And I just want to verify with David and Brad and Megan, you guys can see my screen okay?
Yes.
All right, good. I've done this before where you're done at the end and they go, I just saw the first slide the whole time. It's like, oh. So perfect. So stay focused on the mission and not the day-to-day IT issues. I can say that kind of summarizes the concerns for a lot of customers. Other customers, they want better customer service. They want to lower their monthly spend on IT services, lower the cost of that hardware refresh cycle. They want to improve productivity, resolve compliance issues, eliminate cyber threats, which, as we know, is growing every day, increase accountability, and especially right now, it's enabling the work from home or work from anywhere staff. So those are just some of the things that are most important to customers. So at Technology Source, we are a group that's been together for over 20 years, focused on the mission of, enabling our clients to meet and exceed their goals in these areas and many more. And so we have, advisors from all over, different parts of the world, different backgrounds, different industry focuses. And so we all coalesce together to help the needs of our clients. And it's a great team of people that have been together, like I said, some of them over 20 years. So myself, I've been with Technology Source for about a year now, a little over a year. And I came to them working as a C-level at a cloud provider. And so you'll find a lot of different providers in our portfolio. We have over 500. And as an industry-funded organization, it means that the client doesn't have to pay to work with us. The industries that support us are the various providers. So just kind of a little background on who we are. So let's get into a quick case study about how we helped a customer. The problem here was the need to consolidate and save. And this was kind of an interesting one. This was kind of right in the thick of kind of April, May, with the pandemic really strong. And this customer came to us with a concern hey, we need to cut costs and save a job. Really, we need to save about $4,000 a month on our IT spend. Where can we do it? And so for us, we didn't come right at them and say, here's what you need to do. You need SD-WAN, and it's going to save you all this money. What we had to do first was make the business case for SD-WAN, which is what we're going to talk about today. And so some of the concerns they had on top of needing to save money was they had, one that sticks in my mind is so many bills coming in from all these different locations for their internet services. It was sort of a nightmare for the IT department to have to manage all these, and then from the accounting standpoint, also not very easy. They had a limited budget, obviously, like we were talking about, and a lot of software as a service apps, which means they need these applications to run in the cloud. They need really good, solid internet. Speaking of the cloud, they wanted to migrate more to the cloud and have better internet in a lot of locations. And then they had a lot of their locations were still basically on an old MPLS system. So that is kind of the issues. So what we did is we brought to them some providers, and we're going to talk to one of the providers today. But we showcased some providers, gave them some options, and we made the business case. And one of the coolest things that we were able to do is provide all of this for them at no cost. There was zero consulting fees. They didn't have to talk to any salespeople. We did all that for them and brought to them just the pricing on what they needed and basically the engineering conversations that they needed to see if the solution was right for them. There was some concerns over firewalls that were in place and how those would play with the SD-WAN system. And so some of the conversation needed to happen more at the networking level to decide what would happen with those firewalls. And the next cool thing that happened was once they went forward, we were able to present to them at least a 20% cost reduction in their monthly IT spend, which was saving them on their networking, and which was saving them about 20%. And as an end result, they did meet their goal there to save that full-time employee's role at the organization. So if you want to see more about this case study, you can visit our Google reviews. This customer actually reviewed us on Google, which was exciting. The next thing that happened was we were there the entire time. And when you meet this provider here in a few minutes, I'm excited to say we didn't really do that much other than connect the client and be there for helping them review a bunch of other quotes. We would have been there if there were any concerns, though, and that's the other role we play as a technology advisor, is to just help our clients in the time of need, reschedule appointments. We also help them say no, to some type of offer that they just don't really want. Sometimes it's time consuming to deal with the salespeople and those types of things. So, but in this case, we're able to help them say yes, and it was a really good match that we made there. So And also I forgot to mention, everything's now on one bill with full redundancy, better internet, faster internet, and they save money. It almost just sounds too good to be true, but it really isn't. And like I said, you can talk to this customer, you can talk to other customers who've seen this type of result. It is a fantastic result that you'll find from the right SD-WAN solution. So that's what I've got for you. But now I just want to introduce to you some people on today's call. First, I'll introduce Megan Michael from our team here at Technology Source. How are you this morning, Megan?
I'm good. How are you, Sonya?
I'm good, thank you. So Megan is zooming in today from Newport Beach, and we're happy to have her on our team. And then let me go ahead and introduce the team at Windstream. First, I will start with Brad Daniels, just because I have had several of these interactions with Brad. We've talked a lot on our virtual roundtables. He's a senior sales engineer, and he's dialing in today from his home office in Mission Viejo, California. How are you, Brad?
Good morning. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Good. All right, and then I will introduce our senior sales engineer in Irvine, California, Mr. Ray Pinion. How are you today, Ray?
Doing well, Sonya. Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
Great. And then I will introduce David Meyer, our senior channel manager, from his home office today. You can see he's actually in a sunny part of Irvine, and I see your barbecue in the background. It looks like a nice place to be, David.
It is. It's beautiful weather we're having.
Awesome. And last but not least, we have the VP of SD-WAN Product Development on today's call. Thank you so much for joining us, Mike. And I know you're calling in from your home office just outside of Portland.
That's correct. Thank you so much, Sonya, and everyone else for hosting us today.
Great to have you. I think I'm closest to you. I'm up in Northern California, Mike. So happy to be here today. Thanks to everyone for joining, and we'd really like to ask Windstream some questions. And so to start, I'll kick it off. Tell us a little bit about Windstream and the SD-WAN product, and how do you make this case as an advisor like myself and the rest of the team of advisors, or even in an IT role. I was an IT director for many years, and I would have to advise my executive team on what to do. And sometimes that's not always easy. You have all these different departments, each with their own interests in mind. So tell us, how do you navigate those waters? Give us some success stories.
Yes, so David Meyer, Senior Channel Manager, and Mike will jump in here as well, since he is the VP of Product Development for the SD-WAN. The success about this is that we're able to provide different agnostic solutions. So, we'll hear about VeloCloud, we'll hear about Fortinet. So when we walk into a situation, we're not walking in with already a canned offering. We find out what the client needs, where we can fit that best with our strategic offerings, and then be able to come back with a quote. As Sonya had mentioned, we have a full team behind us, all the way from professional services to go out and do VoIP assessments, all the way through project coordination. So we assigned an individual or individuals, depending on the size, to be able to take from signature all the way through implementation. Mike, did you want to add anything?
No, I think that was a great overview, David. Thank you very much. And I would actually just like to take a little bit of time here and share. Hopefully this works. This is my first day with 3 screens, so hopefully you can see the presentation. Can I get a thumbs up from someone? Fantastic. All right. I just wanted to give a little bit of background on who Windstream Enterprise is. For those of you who don't know, we're a Little Rock, Arkansas-based company. We're part of Windstream Holdings. There's a Kinetic consumer organization, and then Windstream Enterprise is the enterprise arm of Windstream. Windstream Enterprise is the single source provider of software-enabled unified communications and SD-WAN solutions with aggregated access that's delivered and consumed by our end users through our award-winning WeConnect digital experience. So I've got a view here on the screen of the breadth of capabilities, the breadth of solutions that we provide. Right? As David said, we're not a one-stop shop, we are a one-stop shop. We are not a one-size-fits-all shop. So Brad and and Ray are going to talk about our SD-WAN options, which provide application optimization, visibility and control, integrated next generation security, flexible connectivity. So we can bring not only the overlay, which is how we look at SD-WAN, but also the underlay, the broadband, the cellular, the Ethernet, and if you have it, TDM integration that will eventually move you to Ethernet or broadband. We're that single point of contact, that single shop that can provide not only the underlay but also the overlay. As part of that, in our managed services portfolio, we also offer unified communications. We have voice services, we have video conferencing services, collaboration, connectivity services. Again, 3 different varieties there to choose from, depending upon the needs of your end user. We encompass all of this with our managed security portfolio, where we provide next generation firewalls, as well as DDoS mitigation, PCI compliance capabilities, and SIM threat monitoring and response. And we can provide that in a variety of ways, right? As we look at how the businesses are evolving as they move to the cloud. Our most popular security platform is our cloud-based security platform, where we virtualize the devices on the edge, put them in the cloud, and given customers that next generation security where they need it most. And then finally, from a core strategy perspective, our managed LAN and WAN portfolio. We, as I mentioned earlier, we have the underlay. We also have MPLS networks. We provide internet service. And we have also a full portfolio of LAN services. So switches, access points, cameras, all this together is all visualized and controlled through what we call WeConnect, which is our browser-based and mobile-based platform. So it's a single pane of glass for centralized management of all of the Windstream services, single bill, single trouble ticketing interface for the customers, so that they don't have to go to different systems and different providers, right? We provide that hub for them from a support perspective, as well as from a service delivery perspective. They can see, in real time, the status of all the services that they've ordered and how those are coming together to deliver the service to each of their individual locations. David also mentioned this. We have a professional services arm, which we leverage quite extensively as customers are making these transitions to the next generation or cloud services or their digital transformation, however you want to call it. We've got highly trained and highly skilled professionals, both across verticals. So from a product perspective, we've got SD-WAN professionals, UCaaS professionals, security professionals, as well as vertical professionals. So we have healthcare professionals, banking and finance professionals, retail professionals. All of these we can bring to bear to help you as you're crafting the next generation or the next iteration of your customer's network. I did want to talk a little bit about SD-WAN and where it is today and where it's going. The SD-WAN market continues to grow at a fantastic rate. Annual growth estimates are ranging anywhere between 25 and 45% over the next few years, with a CAGR of 36%. It's fantastic growth. We've seen fantastic growth in our portfolio. We had a 21% increase last year in our strategic services portfolio. And right now, SD-WAN and UCaaS make up 18% of all the Windstream revenues, which is a tremendous transformation coming from a telco. I don't like that word, but coming from a telco where we were, to say now today that 20% and growing of our revenue is based on our managed services portfolio is fantastic. And what we're hearing from our customers and analyst reports are aligning is that the majority of enterprises today and organizations want to move to a managed or co-managed service. A lot of them are using a co-managed service kind of as a stepping stone to fully managed, because fully managed is a little bit scary, right? It goes into a black box. I don't know what happens. So we offer fully co-managed services as well as fully managed services. And what we're finding is, as this report shows, 75% of SD-WAN enterprises and organizations are looking for that type of co-managed or fully managed solution. We're also looking at the enterprise spend on managed SD-WAN services. I said that SD-WAN as a market is growing between 25 and 45% with a 36% CAGR. The managed services component is actually growing between 70 and 80% over the next 3 years on a compound annual growth rate. which is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal opportunity for you to guide your customers and help them shift how they're doing business and how they're running their organizations, right? I mean, I'm sure Sonya can attest that that one of the big drivers that we see here is that customers want to focus on their strategic needs, and frankly, running a network isn't strategic to a business, right? We're able to provide that managed service or co-managed service so that they can then focus on the applications, which really at the end of the day are how they're going to differentiate their services in a crowded market. You've probably heard the term SASE as well. There's a shift right now in the market from what we call network-centric security and network-centric services to a user, device, and an application-centric solution. We're making a shift. We already have the core fundamental tenets and building blocks of SASE in our cloud security platform, our leading SD-WAN provider technologies, as well as the cloud integration of those technologies and remote access. And so, if you're not keeping an eye on what's happening with the market, I would suggest that you do. The analysts are predicting that by 2023, enterprises will have adopted kind of a SASE framework, and then by 2024, 40% will have a strategy behind it. So, spend time with Brad and Ray and David to understand how you can shape the future of your customers or your end users' network evolution by looking at not only SD-WAN, which is what Ray and Brad are going to cover here on this call, but also thinking beyond the network itself to the security and the edges and the remote access. So with that, I think I'm turning it back to Sonya.
Yeah, great. Well, I just have some questions that have come in for you gentlemen today. And then to my audience here, thank you so much for asking. We really appreciate these. So first one is from William B. William B says, is this Windstream's hardware or someone else's hardware?
So it's a fantastic question, William. You'll hear from Ray and Brad in a little bit. We use the two leading technology platforms in our service delivery for SD-WAN. We use VMware as well as Fortinet. But the important thing, and Ray and Brad are going to talk about this, is that for us, it's not just the technology that's important, it's the solution that we put around it, right? It's the single pane of glass, it's the concierge service, it's the access aggregation, it's the entire solution. It's not really necessarily a point solution, which we're very proud of, right? Partnering with the two leading providers on the Gartner Magic Quadrant. But it's about the solution that we put around it and the services that we provide to the end users.
Okay, next question is Windstream, and this one's from William B. also, is Windstream an XaaS provider?
Windstream is an XCaaS, I guess XCaaS, how we'd say it. So we provide unified communications as a service. We offer, our leading product is our own internally developed solution, which is called Office Suite, as well as Office Suite Meeting HD, which is our collaboration platform for UCaaS services. And then we also, for the different customer segments that may need it, we offer Avaya and Mitel as technology platforms as well. All of these are all integrated into that single pane of glass we connect that I talked about earlier.
Yeah, the Windstream meeting video conferencing it works great. All right, and next question. We'll just take a few more because there's a lot. Here is a customer that would like to know, a potential customer, can you provide more information on the ongoing support and technical assistance that is provided? And this is from Ethan G, as in golf.
So I'm assuming Brad and Ray are going to touch on the concierge service. So maybe we just hold that question for a little bit later.
Okay, well, I'll put their name in the bowl, and then that's a perfect segue to the next topics. And thank you for that question, Ethan. It looks like we're about to hear a full presentation on it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I'll answer that question, David. So from a support perspective, through the evolution of implementation or actually delivery of SD-WAN. Let's say it goes into evaluation, implementation, and operations. Just like Mike had mentioned, it's a concierge service that gets placed in or adopted into the delivery of SD-WAN. And the evaluation portion, this is an audit of the current environment as it exists today and everything that might include: access, systems, hosted services, things of the sense, right? There is a project manager that gets assigned through the task that actually takes audit of everything that's not only in the local environment, but also in the WAN environment as well. And then post-install, post-service delivery and activation, there is a constant involvement of Windstream staff for optimization, any tweaking that needs to be done on business policies as they appropriate to SD-WAN. So I hope that answers the question.
It does, Ray. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
And what's nice about the way we implement these services, you can be involved as much as you want, or you just rely on Windstream Enterprise to do the work and get things up and implemented. So with that, you have a $6 billion company that you can work with to be able to ensure the multi-location opportunities you have will be implemented correctly. And so I think, Sonya, now we'll be going to Ray's VMware.
Yeah, let's hear that. And then we have like dozens of questions. So just when you get to a good stopping point, Ray, let us know and we'll keep asking.
Will do. Let me bring this over here. Can you see my screen well?
Yep.
See your email.
You see email. Sorry. Darn it. Let me put that back over here.
Better.
Okay. So, we're going to go ahead and talk about network transformation that would involve SD-WAN and the, value points that come about with delivery and activation of SD-WAN as Windstream delivers that. So it enables many different relevant business value with regards to how the environment may exist today. So there is, as I mentioned earlier, there's audit of the environment as it exists on the LAN side, on cloud services, and any on-prem systems that might be in place, whether in or outside of the DMZ as the network is architected, right? We look at the SaaS applications and the performance on how those are being utilized to make sure that they migrate and get included into the SD-WAN design. Looking at access, if there is, by example, part of what Sonya had talked about earlier with the customer example of the case study, if there's an environment such, by example, an MPLS environment, we can take a look at the cost effectiveness by doing not only a diverse access media use, but also by way of how those are going to be configured, such as the case of bandwidth aggregation and business policy, application prioritization, link steering, and much of the attributes that SD-WAN brings to the table, making it more cost effective. Past is the day of having to go out and get more bandwidth to a circuit because bandwidth utilization is at 90%. Instead, the approach with access now is more intelligent by being able to optimize the use of each of the applications based by percentage, based on users, based on time of day, day of week type settings that are available for use. Optimizing the applications, as I mentioned, 100% uptime that we have by way of delivery of the service through the dual access or more. So SD-WAN has an ability to be able to do one access, dual access, tertiary access, even up to 4 access circuits that are connected through it, aggregation, business policy, adaptation also. Security can also be part of the environment that includes either prem-based firewalls that may already be in place, or if it's going to be employment of Windstream services, we offer either managed network security prem-based or managed network security cloud-based that delivers all the unified threat management suite of products. firewall, intrusion detection, web content filtering, and such. We can also, through the development or the delivery of SD-WAN, adapt into a hybrid environment, such as the case where a customer might possibly have an existing MPLS network that they want to continue for use and have a hybrid use of SD-WAN in the mix of that as well. Whether that would be in a ongoing production state type use or whether it's a migration plan that they're going to be working through. Moving on from there, I lightly touched on optimized performance, project manager that gets involved, gets included, not only of the pre-install, but post-install also. That bundled with concierge services guarantees a constant optimized environment. Understand that this is a fully managed and monitored solution by Windstream and connectivity via our NOC, Network Operations Center, that has a constant view not only on a production state, but also an alert and notification instances where they may possibly having a service impact condition. Simplified management, Mike touched upon it earlier with our WeConnect products, single sign-on, extended challenge through a token ID use if for administrative purposes when you start getting into the managed network security, or when you start moving into SD-WAN changes for business policy. Cost efficiencies, we talked about earlier, economies of scale are much better now in the instance where you can do diversity by access media. Example would be having a primary fiber, Ethernet over fiber circuit, secondary could be a cable broadband, 4G broadband, fixed wireless, whatever the media type is that can be delivered, whether that's by way of Windstream or something that is in place currently. We can do it over the top. Here's an example of some of the customers that we have some great business cases around on how we were able to solve for business conditions, not installing in instances of technology for technology's sake, but really making it relevant for the business practice and what we were able to truly change, not only from their IT cost perspective, but also having increased sales as well, or whatever metrics they measure on, whether it's for sales, whether it's for clinical operations. We have a large presence in the healthcare vertical and a huge amount of involvement in what exists today with COVID-19 and telemedicine. Great story to tell in that environment as well. So these are some of the companies that we actually have done. We've been able to participate for some great success stories. Powered by industry-leading technologies. Mike touched on this earlier. In the Gartner Magic Quadrant is what we have involved within our product suite. We have VeloCloud and we have Fortinet. And in this either or type condition, they both bring their value with regards to implementation. They all have a discussion point. When we have discussions with our customers, we don't necessarily lead with one or the other. First and foremost, we do a business audit, business discovery, and then we lead in proposal and discussion on either or platform. Again, they each have their incredible value points to bring to the table. Here is a general or common design that we have. What I talked about earlier, whether it's 4G LTE, public internet, and whether there's an MPLS, whether it's Windstream or third-party provider, we can implement into that. Connectivity into cloud services such as SaaS, IaaS, or PaaS, we can adapt into that. AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Salesforce.com, and a whole list of others as well that we can connect into. And we also, like David mentioned earlier, we have ability to be able to deliver voice services, whether that's by cloud-based or dial tone to the prem. So if the customer has a premise-based voice system, we can deliver dial tone to there, make it cost-effective. No need for point solution access circuit for the voice delivery. It can actually reside over the access circuits that's delivering SD-WAN and everything else in place. So it can all be consolidated service for delivery on a single circuit, dual access circuit for the survivability and business continuity model. This is a common design here that we work with. standard configuration, SD-WAN hub configuration. So we can either do it by way of access and traversing the Windstream network, or we can actually have diversity where it routes outside of the Windstream carrier network as well. So you look at true diverse routes, not only by the metro and where Windstream has presence, but also, if required, having no dependency and having separate routing traffic outside of the Windstream network also for that risk mitigation, if you will. Concierge services, we talked about it earlier, the flexibility, the connectivity, the cloud core network that we connect into also through the SD-WAN VeloCloud platform. Talked about concierge services, right? So one of the things that I mentioned earlier, evaluation, implementation, and operations. On the evaluation side, this is a pre-discovery of the entire environment, LAN side, WAN side, taking audit of all the access circuits, any prem-based appliances, whether that be application servers, firewalls, anything of the such, switching environment, routing environment, all of that is taken into audit through the project manager and kept on a project document that is made available to all the project team members, Windstream, customer, consultant, whomever might be involved in that project state. Implementation, a constant reporting on all tasks that have been captured, each of the individuals that are held accountable to those tasks, and how those are progressing through the project. Post-install and operation, service activation that's being put. There are team members within Windstream that remain involved. Additional people that are involved that are, I believe, very important to this project is a technical service manager. This is an individual that has continued discussions with all the technical elements around the project as it has been delivered, and also a customer advocate that gets involved through the project as well, that deals with matters with things such as billing, such as ticket escalation, such as quarterly business reviews and things of that sense. They are the true advocate to the customer. Probably the more conversation is had with the CA than the entire engineering team. However, the engineering team through that individual remains definitely engaged, as do others as well. This is a WeConnect, a snapshot or a screenshot of the WeConnect. This is very flexible in its use. It can either be a desktop type application that have connectivity, use of widgets, and being able to move and navigate through services, not only services that might be employed such as SD-WAN, UCAS, and things of the such, but you also have an ability as an administrator to look at things like billing, ticket escalation, ticket status, doing invoice downloads and things of the such. But you also have an ability to move even further into administrative type connection through an additional challenge of a token ID to maintain the security to get into things like hosted security, UCAS services, SD-WAN services, and the such. That particular application extends into a soft phone install also. So you can definitely be mobile as an administrator or as a user. This is something that adapts not only for the administrative portion, but also for the UCAS type services.
Quick question, Ray, about the complexity of that. We have a potential customer who, Elizabeth, I'll go ahead and put your name in the bowl. Thank you for these great questions, guys. Elizabeth wanted to know if this is very complex and is it simple to use? I mean, is it something that she would need like a full-time employee, or I mean, how much time does it take to learn and understand the portal?
Great question. I wish I had more time to talk to you about the WeConnect portal. It is extremely intuitive, very easy to adapt into. It is really kind of a click and point, drag and drop type of look and feel and functionality. In addition to that, part of what we do have in each one of these, what we call widgets, is we have little tutorial videos that you can watch. So say, by example, you have an environment where there is churn. You have administrators or or agents and when I say agent, I mean like contact center agents and things of the such that kind of rotate through. You don't have it, you don't really need to be placed into a circumstance where you're training a trainer. The individual can actually be productive in that learning curve by looking at the tutorials that we have available for each one of these widgets in whatever duty or role they might possibly have. In addition to that, what we do have is also scheduled, repeatable training courses as well, where you would have 1 hour courses, 1.5 hour courses, 1 hour courses for, let's say, for example, Office Suite UCAS type users, general office administrator type user, or whether it would be for an administrator.
Great, thank you. And then a question about managed security. Does that include, I think we'll wait to talk about that. We're still on SD-WAN. Okay, here's one. The legacy equipment, would that stand in place or would this all need to be replaced? This is from David T. as in Tango.
Legacy equipment such as routers, switches, they can be kept in place. Legacy equipment such as phone systems, those can remain in place and we can adapt into that. It wouldn't be a replacement requirement.
Okay. And then another question, can you integrate other manufacturers' products into the overall solution? I think that's sort of very much of a continuation of the other question. That's from William B.
Yeah, and the answer to that is yes. Again, as I mentioned earlier, there will be a discussion, with an audit of what elements of that existing system would need to be kept and supported. And we could definitely have those discussions, and we often have those discussions.
Great. Keep going. I just had those questions there. They're burning out there.
So here are the, expanding a little bit further on WeConnect digital differentiators, visibility, report center, tagging and naming. So with visibility, you have an ability to be able to do not only historical type reporting in how your applications, how your business policies for optimization are working, and but you also have real-time type capabilities. So not only historical data or reports, but you also have real-time visibility of that as well. Real-time visibility as well as real-time alerts and notifications when any of those thresholds have been reached, compromised, or other. Reporting center, as I mentioned, and tagging and naming. So as you're going through audit of some of the applications that are in use, some of the traffic that is actually moving, you can say, by example, you resolve or solve on one of the studies that you have. It resolves on a MAC address. You identify that it's an individual's device that's connected, or whatever other naming or reference you want to adapt into. You have an ability to be able to place a tag on that and filter on those events as well. So as an administrator, it saves a lot of time through having to do that review, future state and such, or continually monitor. We talked about the mobility. So not only is it at the desktop, but it's also on a soft phone app that gets installed that allows the administrator to be mobile. And being able to set many of the triggers to set administrator tasks. Multi-factor authentication, as we talked about earlier, one of the verticals or two of the verticals that we deal with very often is in the quick serve restaurant vertical, where PCI compliance is a hard factor. Additionally, in the healthcare industry, we have HIPAA compliancy. It definitely helps. As I mentioned earlier at the top end of our call, we have a lot of involvement with healthcare and clinics as they exist today with telemedicine that is a high adapter in use. We can bring those values to those particular customers and verticals. Insight Engine, this is more of what's available to you from an AI perspective. You get very intelligent data that you can analyze and review and have further study of. For those of you that are acquainted, I guess I think it would serve well to mention that the WeConnect or the SD-WAN appliance can provide visibility for layer 1 to layer 7 study. So you have a physical link, you have your data link, you have your network, you have your transport, all the way up to the application 7 layer being application. So it offers great value.
Quick question, you mentioned some customers that would benefit. Here's a potential customer, John. I know we have 7 Johns on today's event. So this is John V as in Victor. John says, is SD-WAN an appropriate solution for a company with many branches in a single state that has an average internet bandwidth requirement and 3 to 5 VoIP phones per location, or is this overkill?
No, it fits right into our sweet spot, so to speak. So we can deal in the high enterprise arena as well as in the multitude of branch locations with small occupancy in the office. Not only that, but pointing again to make it relevant in our current condition of COVID-19, many of those employees have been moved out to remote offices, small office, home office type environments. We can also adapt into those as well. So it is a perfect solution for the smaller and larger type installs or work environments.
Great, thank you.
Here's another view of what you might actually see. Here's some snapshots of what we're looking at with intelligent data. Again, looking at it real time or historical, that can be looked at. Here's some of the soft phone views that you have on looking at top applications, top destinations, top sources. So if you're looking at transit traffic and wanting to get a better idea on how that's averaging by summary review or by protocol or by a IP address or MAC address, looking at the specific device, and others as well, other top categories that you might look at. This one really helps a lot in instances of where you're hardening your environment, making sure that there's no rogue devices, making sure that any of your security suite applications use are actually functioning really well. So this really kind of maintains a perfect view of all that traffic. The WeConnect portal, again, this gives you a view of how your access circuits are performing on a health state perspective, gives you scoring on here as well. This does what SD-WAN provides is SD-WAN VeloCloud provides forward error correction. And this gives you a true element on how that is working. So if you have a blip on the primary circuit, you might possibly have link steering between the 2 access circuits. By example, in this diagram, it will do a forward error correction on this end, correct the packet either by continued use on that access circuit or look at the healthier circuit and pass it through that. So you have true aggregation with these 2 access circuits, session flowing through each of these 2 circuits.
Yeah, and that's kind of the magic of SD-WAN besides all these
Yes.
analytics, just that beauty of that really solid connection, which is what a lot of people are looking for right now. So we have about 6 minutes left, so I just wanted to put a little time stamp on that. And then we do have a lot more questions from our group here. So.
I'll brief through this. Here's another snapshot view of some of the administrative elements or areas that you can go into. We talked about looking at protocols, looking at tunneling and VPN. So you can look at an IPsec tunnel specific to, let's say, a remote user, gather information on it. Encryption between the edge device and the SD-WAN gateway. We have connectivity. And I think that that's worth making mention of this here. Part of what we bring as a huge value is not just the SD-WAN service itself, but the existence of the Windstream network. So the Windstream carrier network really solves for instances of latency, throughput, degradation, where what we do in design is we connect an office location where an edge device is connected to the nearest metro SD-WAN gateway. It is a static route that's configured in place to minimize any type of long multi-hop type routes that might exist across the public internet. Once it is on the Windstream network, metro to metro is either on a long haul, say coast to coast, California to New York, or it's going to be metro to metro if you're talking about state to state. That really does provide it contributes to a truly optimized environment. We encrypt those tunnels, again, meeting that HIPAA and PCI compliance is a huge factor in that part as well. We talked about virtual private network. We talked about firewall, unified threat management. We have product suites, or we can work with any of those product suites that are already pre-existing as well.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, at this moment, I think it'd be great with the time we have left.
Sure.
Brad, what's the difference and why would you go Fortinet over VMware or VeloCloud?
Is that question to Brad or to myself?
It was to Brad.
Oh, you're trying to segue me here? Sorry. So Sonya, just for clarity on timing, do we have 7 minutes overall?
Yeah, we have about 5 or so minutes left because we still have to do all these prizes. I have a lot of prizes to give away from you guys. So,
right.
but let's just move along.
All right, so I'm going to dive in and we're going to have to kind of skim on this a little quick. So let me share my screen.
Sorry about that, Brad. I thought.
Oh, no worries.
Somebody was keeping time.
There's a lot of information here. We're force feeding everybody out of the fire hose, so I get it.
Well, the other nice thing too is that what Ray went through, you know, the portals and things like that, we can use for both the VeloCloud and the Fortinet. So, yeah.
Correct.
So do you have my slide prezo?
Yep.
Showing properly? Okay. So thanks for joining everybody. Brad Daniels here. So this is going to be kind of compressed here, but I kind of wanted to just do a quick overview on the agenda. You know, let's look at the vendors and the service provider comparison. So, you know, Fortinet versus VeloCloud or VMware, some of those technical differences. What's product specific to the SD-WAN with Fortinet? One of the components is Cloud Core Bandwidth. Oops. And I'd like to talk about that just so you understand. Some of the management options Ray was showing you through the portal, a case study, which I think we may not get to. So earlier, Mike Frayne had alluded to this too. We have over 35,000 SD-WAN sites with 3,500 customers. We were the MEF 2019 SD-WAN Provider of the Year for North America. And then we were also the Fortinet 2019 Managed Service Provider Partner of the Year. So we've got some feathers in our hat. We know what we're doing with SD-WAN. And then we go into the vendor comparisons between, you know, who the different vendors are, what kind of some of these benefits are. And also, you know, we did talk about, you know, in the Magic Quadrant, VMware and Fortinet are 1 and 2 respectively in the Magic Quadrant. So you can see here just kind of with, it's hard to drill into all these individually, but visually you can kind of see that VMware and Fortinet have, you know, a lot of advantages over some of their competitors here. So we kind of have played on that. And then some of the service provider comparisons, you know, who's using what. We're obviously using both Velo and Fortinet. And we've got CenturyLink with Versa, Mastergy using Silver Peak, Comcast with Versa, Verizon with Viptela, which is a Cisco, and then X-Roads with 0 outages. So some of the comparisons again on those feature sets, I keep moving my mouse here. So, and I know this is just a compressed version, but you know, a little bit of comparison for who we are versus our competitors. And then some of those technical differences, you know, what differentiates and when do you kind of choose one solution over the other? So VMware is the leader. They're a little bit more robust in some of the things that they do in their performance right now. So they kind of get the edge up there, you know, with the concierge treatment, small limited IT staff is great. Fortinet, we have added concierge to Fortinet. So that wasn't advanced where it was just advanced feature set before. And then, so we've got a few, you know, adds to VeloCloud. I'll show you another one here that Here's where it kind of makes sense. When you get into highly distributed locations, low number of employees, think like a retail-like environment, the Fortinet often lends itself to a good solution there. One, because it does two things. One, you can have SD-WAN and you can actually add in your firewalling for those sites. So it makes for a nice price advantage, consolidated feature set. And then pricing. Fortinet is very generous on their pricing. They're trying hard to win your business. And then the other components of this is, you know, when you get into high bandwidth, Fortinet does have the edge on high bandwidth sites and aggregation through the gateways. So here's a summary of that. So Fortinet, when you want security, think, you know, managed network security or firewalling, higher cloud core bandwidth or throughput, premise equipment throughput, the actual device itself, and then pricing. And then VeloCloud, when would you use that? You know, when advanced quality of experience, they've got some more enhanced feature sets on their technologies at this point, although I will say Fortinet is making a concerted effort to catch up very quickly. Network topology, branch to branch, dynamic site to site is something that we would use with VMware, and then the concierge management, which is now kind of been we just added the concierge to the Fortinet. So cloud core bandwidth, what does that mean? So in both models, they have a gateway up in our environment that they communicate with, think two cans in a string. So that's how we're able to monitor that traffic between those 2 points, between the gateway and the edge device. How is that traffic performing? We're able to do that. If you think of probably, you know, a common competitor is Meraki. Meraki does not use a gateway architecture. Meraki has to go box to box. So if you've got a single site, doesn't do a whole lot for you for SD-WAN. You've got to be able to use that other site where we have these gateways that we've orchestrated and deployed in the clouds in our sites. So you can see here, traffic flows up into the gateway, flows into the core or into the MPLS network. Mentioning, you know, what Ray brought up was once you get to our gateways, now you can traverse 150,000 miles of Windstream's fiber backbone, right? So you get on this highway here and everything can move along in the MPLS world.
Really quick question.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of going over a lot,
yeah,
but
sorry.
one of the questions is why Windstream? You know, there are other providers of SD-WAN, and we just had a great question. And then also, if you could touch on, I have several questions, one from William B. and then one from Victor G. on APIs and SDK. Are they comprehensive? Is that something that you require others to have their own APIs? Or is this derived from Windstream? So I know that's two questions. One, why Windstream? And then some more technical questions.
Right. So
I'll take the why. And it's basically what you're seeing is everything that we do. So as Mike mentioned in the very beginning, you know, one place to go for all the services and offerings. With versus going out and getting someone who does VeloCloud, someone who does pro services, someone else who can go do the cabling. With Windstream, we do it all, and we bring it all within the family of Windstream. So it's just ease of use, and quite honestly, it's ease for you that you don't have to go out and manage 3, 4, 5 different suppliers. You have one company you're dealing with, and you have one project coordinator, et cetera, with the concierge services. So that's the big why, and I know we're limited on time. Brad, you want to take the second question?
Well, yeah, and then to point that out too, one of the reasons for why is, you know, as a carrier, you know, we have all the infrastructure in place. We're not just selling you the box and giving you a license, and you know, provide your own bandwidth. So again, you know, these gateway clusters, they're regionalized. So for the Fortinet, we have 4 separate regions with HA cluster pairs. So each region would have its own pair. With VeloCloud, we have over 300 gateways deployed across the United States. So as you look here and you can see our map of kind of our, you know, our backbone and our fiber and our POPs, where they are. A lot of those have VeloCloud. You see there where there are the ones for the Fortinet. So one of the reasons is, you know, we're the carrier. We manage all the back end of this. Again, we're a recognized leader in the SD-WAN world. with recognition and awards from not only our peers, but through our partners as well. So that's a big point. The question on the APIs, I'm not sure what you want to tie into. Are you looking to tie into the WeConnect portal or into the Fortinet? I'm not clear on how APIs would tie into this conversation right here. I will say this, that the solution that's provided with Fortinet is not an out-of-the-box solution that you would get if you were to buy a Fortinet, say a 60E, and enable the SD-WAN. You would have the GUI that you'd be able to look at, through the management portal of that device, where what we use is we use FortiManager, FortiAnalyzer, and we use that to assemble all those into, to where you get this result here, where, I can see the device, I can see the uplinks, I can see the quality of experience links. I can see the transport monitoring. These aren't features or results that you get from Fortinet out of the box. This has been highly groomed and used through multiple applications to derive this information. So we've had to work really hard with the Fortinet to get you this type of solution. So this is very, very unique to Windstream.
All right, well, I want to continue these conversations, and I would encourage any customers today who are on the event to please reach out to the advisor who brought you to today's event, or myself. I can help you connect you with the right advisor for you. And we will connect you directly with Ray and Brad, and as you can see, they're very good at tailoring the conversation to your needs, specifically for your industry, your business, and David as well. So we're happy to have you guys. Thank you for such an informative presentation. I definitely learned a lot. Speaking of what I learned, let's do a couple quick trivia questions and then some drawings. I did add some names to the drawing for questions that we didn't get to, because they were really good questions. So I just added those in. So, all right, so first off, trivia question. What are the differentiators of working with Windstream? First person to add a couple, let's say two, in the chat box. We will be happy to, let's see. All right, it was John B. John B as in Bravo. He says, concierge service and one back to Pat. So I love that. That's a great way to look at it. So thank you. Next question is to our audience. So John B, you won a $50 gift card from Amazon. Congratulations. Megan's got your name down for us here. All right, next question is the next question is, does Windstream provide project management? Yes or no? First one was William B as in Bravo. William B as in Bravo. Congratulations. Next question for another $50 Amazon card is, what are other services that Windstream can deliver in combination with SD-WAN? What are some other services that SD-WAN can be in combination with? Let's be kind of specific. I see security. All right, so security as a service, and that's from William B as in Bravo. So clean house there, William. All right, now for the two $100 gift cards, let's go ahead and do this drawing here. Let's see if we want to stop the screen share so they can read, so you guys can read this. Thank you to Windstream for all these fun giveaways. And our first winner of the $100 gift card is John V as in Victor, one of the several Johns on today. And then another $100 gift card. We have, oh, names are flopping out here. How about Ethan G as in golf. All right, Ethan, a first-time winner. I don't remember hearing Ethan's name on here. So thank you to our audience. We will see you in 2 weeks for the next virtual roundtable. Please join us again. Thank you, Brad and Ray and David. We are really appreciated having you on today. And lots of good information. Please, to everyone, continue this conversation with us. Just reach out to your advisors. We're here to connect you. We call ourselves the technology matchmakers. So your advisors, and to all the advisors, if you have more questions that weren't answered today, David is here to work with you. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you to our partners at Windstream. Have a great day.